Welcome to episode 36 of Proffitt's Resurrection Land Cruisers TV. Since my husband's in hogging the camera, I decided I would do the introduction for this episode solo. In this episode, we're going to feature this 1983 FJ60 restomod, as well as the SEMA featured 1988 FJ62 that you all have been asking about. This FJ60 received a Stage 2 restoration, as well as some other modifications. A Stage 2 restoration includes a complete vehicle repair and refinish of all body components and subcomponents, except for the engine compartment, which is often refinished as an a la carte item. We removed body accessories including bumpers, lights, emblems, and trim. Then we remove and disassemble the doors, hatch, tailgate, and hood. The interior is removed. Then we repair all body damage and rust. All body components are refinished using the highest quality materials. Additionally, all related zinc hardware is refinished. Usually, the wheel wells and rocker panels are finished in our 2-part polyurea spray liner. The interior is reupholstered in the customer's choice of materials. This FJ60 received a 5.3-liter Vortec and 4L60E drivetrain swap. When we perform any engine swap, our goal is to make the engine compartment look as factory as possible. If the engine doesn't look like it came in the vehicle, we didn't do a good enough job. Even though the 5.3 is a bit controversial, it's a great fit for the FJ60 and adds a lot of value. This FJ60's interior is wrapped in leather, and we added a third-row seat and 3-point retractable seatbelts for 6 passengers. The third-row seat folds and tumbles forwards, so there is still ample room for cargo. This FJ60 also received a premium stereo system with 4 speakers and an amplifier. The daughter of the original owner had us restore this Land Cruiser so it could continue to provide joy and adventure for the next generation. We are thrilled to have been able to do that for them.
This looks interesting. What are you guys doing?
Just discussing what we're going to do with the firewall and the engine compartment.
Kind of a collaboration of body and mechanical so that we get it all right.
You guys weren't allowed to talk to each other. Like, well, this build a wall, block it.
You're not supposed to know about it.
the secret collaboration. No wonder things always work out here. I didn't realize there was actually teamwork happening. This is a cool truck. This truck's name is Crispy. The client that we're building this for bought it from us, and the name of the truck is Crispy because it was actually in a prairie fire. So a fire just sort of blew across it really quickly and turned the gold paint to silver. Didn't really do anything else wrong. Kind of melted the trim here and there, but the mirrors are still good, and Crispy's getting a facelift.
Yeah, and a heart transplant too.
Yeah.
What's going on?
I got 2 new comments on YouTube videos while we were filming a YouTube video. Let's read one of them live to our new YouTube audience. Please, how much does this cost? I get that a lot. He's talking about one that's almost exactly like the one that's behind us. Cummins diesel body off restoration FJ40. We have a great system for estimating costs. If you want to know how much a build would cost, then what we need to do is get you a build sheet done. There's an explanation for it on our website in the Q&A, and the restoration part, it says the restoration experience, and that walks you through how we get you an exact estimate. I'm not afraid to try to guesstimate costs over the phone, but it's a lot easier to find out exactly what you want and then do an estimate for the vehicle and email it to you. So if you want to do that, you can always give us a call or email. Anyway, I see Roy. So we've been waiting here, killing time, Roy.
Man, I was hoping you were cleaning my toolbox. If you see this mess, I've been busy all week.
Yeah.
Sleeping in the cabin.
Is there a toolbox under here somewhere?
Don't look too hard. You might find some missing tools in there.
We are over here admiring how much work you've got done on this FJ40.
It's been a long week.
Yeah, but this is very different than what it looked like last week. What do you got going on?
Wrapped up all the interior wiring. And just getting out to the outside here. Gonna mount up the battery and finalize a lot of the big juicy battery positive connections and go from there. Hopefully I'll get some fenders this afternoon, finish up the engine systems, and early next week I'm hoping to start this bad boy.
I told Roy that he had 2 weeks to get this running to exhaust, and I was sort of joking when I told him that, but This is the end of only the first week, so he's got one whole more week after this, and I'm thinking that he might actually do it. So problem is that then I'm going to expect that kind of speed on everything. So yeah, he made a mistake.
Now we'll get it.
This is looking good. This is a really cool truck. Body off, factory soft top, FJ40 with a Cummins R2.8 and all of the other bells and whistles. Really excited to get this one out on the road. Start driving it. So 3 weeks, completely done?
Mechanically.
What does that mean?
Means it'll be running and driving.
All right. Well, we'll be back. We'll definitely check you out next time we're here filming.
Awesome. Hopefully we can start it then.
Yeah.
Oh wait, there's Clint.
Hello.
Hi, there he is. Oh no.
Just returned from the scrap mission out there.
Oh.
Saved that old Halsey tub back, and then got a bunch more of this stuff.
Keep rolling. Yeah. So we've been trying to throw away. What do you got there?
Hard to find little brackets.
We've been trying to throw away some of the body tubs and clean this place up. I mean, the outside of this place is, I love everything that's here, even the rusty junk, but because it's not junk. But someone over here, Alex, has been tasked with making the grounds look a lot nicer. And so that
didn't come before he came back from Mexico.
What'd you say?
My dumpster didn't come back before he came back from Mexico.
Luckily, that means I get to save some of the stuff. And so Clint, who does all of our sheet metal repair, he couldn't let some things go. So right before it went into the scrap metal, he went out and saved some of the things that he probably has to make from scratch all the time. This means hours of savings for somebody, won't it?
This is good.
Yeah.
This is good.
It's good stuff. Like gold bricks.
Yeah.
You can't get those away from you.
No.
So I believe the FJ62 behind me is the nicest FJ62 that's ever been built. And I'm extremely proud of it, and I'm going to show you a lot of the little details that make this one so special. For starters, it's a stage 3 restoration. So that means we got to take the body off, which means we got to pay attention to every square inch of detail on the chassis and undercarriage, drivetrain, the underside of the body and the inside of the body, everything else. So because of all of that attention to detail and work, this is one nice truck. Let's check it out. So let's start with the engine compartment. This is an LS3 430. It's a brand new engine from GM with a 4L70E behind it, and it's a great engine for 60s and 62s because it's a nice tight little fit and it just looks like it belongs there. And we took the time to integrate all of the subcomponents throughout the engine compartment to fit and match together. So first of all, we tried really hard to match all of the mounting for the subcomponents and fabricated pieces inside here by matching the style with them to each other, and they're all cut out on our CNC plasma table. From the mount here that holds the air compressor and the fuse and relay center to the air intake box that Alex built and all of the other things in here, they're integrated and meant to look like they were built from an OEM. And that makes this engine compartment pop and just look fantastic. The fuse and relay center has something special about it, and I'm going to let Jordy tell you about that in today's tech tip, so we'll save that a little bit for later. But even down to the detail of the normally blue heat dissipators for the ARB compressor, we disassembled that and had them anodized black so that the engine compartment just looked like it flowed, and I'm super proud of it. When we do an engine conversion, I want it to look like an OEM. I don't want it to look like a hot rod. So we don't spend the time hiding wires and building shields that cover things up so you can't tell where any of the tubes and wires are. It's more important to me that what is there is done extremely cleanly and that it's easily accessible, still easy to maintain, service, or repair, and that it looks like it's supposed to be there. So FJ62s are already pretty comfortable from the factory. They're not too loud inside, and it's a comfortable seating arrangement, and I like them, but we wanted to do some things to enhance the comfort of this FJ62, and so there's a range of things that I'll tell you about. To start with, these leather-wrapped 100 series seats. So a 100 series seat is already a 7-way power seat, and we added seat heaters to these, and they're very, very comfortable. There's a little bit more room for legroom for taller drivers and passengers, and it's a great addition. They fit actually pretty nicely in an FJ62. Between the front two seats is this modified Tuffy security console. You can see we've got the seat heater control on the side and a bank of switches in the front, and I'm going to show you what those switches do. So we laid out all of the custom switches on this vehicle right here in the front of the Tuffy box. For starters, there's the camp light. That's that reverse facing light above the spare tire on the custom bumper we built. Then there's roof rack lights. So there's one on each side. We thought it'd be nice to be able to turn them on individually, roof rack right and roof rack left. Next is the sneak light. So what a sneak light is in this case is sometimes it's nice to be able to drive, if you're hunting, which is what this vehicle's for, is to be able to drive through a field without your headlights and taillights on, and just with some sort of dimly forward-facing lit lights that allow you to see where you're going at a slow speed, but they don't shine out too far. So you'll see those on the front bumper, and those are the sneak lights. And then we've got a nice rigid light bar facing forward. Now, all four of the first switches are battery hot because those are lights that we might want to have with the key off. But the rigid light bar is one that we want to run pretty much only when the key is on. So that's a keyed hot switch, and the rest are battery hot. Then coming down here, we've got the ARB locker switches. Of course, the compressor, and then the rear and front lockers. And then the last two are unique to a lot of the builds that we do. And what this is a switch that excites a USB port. So everybody likes to be able to charge their cell phone. I like to be able to charge mine when the key is not on. So we have the ability to turn this USB port on with this switch, even when the key isn't on. The reason that we don't have this just wired up to a battery hot wire is that this blue LED that shows battery voltage would drain the battery eventually. So you've got the ability to charge your phone with the key off, all right there on the front of the Tuffy box. On the back of the Tuffy box, we have the original rear heater switch, which is still functional right there. And then there's another USB charging port, this one just ignition hot. So what else do we have in the front of this FJ62 that it's an improvement? Well, there are several things. First of all, underneath this brand new dash from Toyota, we've got a high-end head unit for the audio system, and this one has a backup camera, and it's Bluetooth and all the goodies. And I'll show you a little bit about the speakers and some of the special things we did in the back in a minute. So up top here, we've got visors that we've rewrapped in leather. It's actually really hard to make a 60 series visor look perfect. It's a design that's hard to recover, but these turned out really nice. And then we've also got a brand new suede headliner. Here's another interior light, just like the one we did up there. But originally, the interior light on the back of a 60 series points straight forward. And if you put one of these rigid A series lights right there, pointing forward, it's just gonna blind you in the rear view mirror. So we built this special bracket that takes the light and aims it down, and that's actually really nice for when you're in the cargo area and you wanna see some stuff back here. And while we're talking about lights, this has a drawer system in the back, and so we wanted some kind of flexible, bendy lighting system so that we could get out here and point the light where we needed it if we were working. And we've got the red lenses in this because, like I said, this is a hunting vehicle. So if I was going to get to my rifles that are in this lockbox in the night and it was dark before I went out in the field, these are actually a really nice feature. See what you're doing, but without alerting whatever critters might be nearby. So let's show you what else we got here in the back of this FJ62. So behind stock tailgate, we've got a truck vault. Truck vault's a great drawer system, and it's really highly secure. So this one's designed specifically for rifles and shotguns, and inside of this easy glide drawer system, we're going to keep all of our hunting equipment in this case. Also, we've got a tailgate storage box. This one from Wagon here, and we went ahead and vortexed the inside of the tailgate so that whatever you put in here has less of a chance of denting the tailgate from the inside out. It's a pretty hardy two-part polyurea spray liner that we use there to protect that. We've also got Vortex on the rocker panels of this Land Cruiser, which I'll show you in a little bit. So on the back of the 62, we also have our standard dual swing out rear bumper. This one is our newest design. On the left side, we've got the spare tire carrier, and the design change is so we can put a rotopatch right there behind the spare tire. Change the camp light mount too, a little bit when we did that. And then the cooler rack on this side with the license plate light integrated underneath. This holds a Yeti 45. Nice and tight rear bumper. So up front, we've got our standard ARB front bumper. We make the rear bumper, but we don't bother making a front bumper, and the reason is it'd be awfully hard to make a nicer bumper than an ARB bull bar. On this ARB bull bar, we've got a rigid 20-inch light bar, and then of course a Warren winch behind there. We've got a VR10, and then these are those sneak lights I showed you when I showed you the switches. They're in blue, and it's just enough light to drive 5 to 10 miles an hour on a dirt road without being detected by animals.
For today's tech tip, we are going to talk about the electrical power distribution and how we've customized it in this particular vehicle. Often when we're up against high-end builds like this, there are a lot of added-on electrical circuits that are needed. In many cases, you find that this leads to a lot of inline fuse holders or ugly clumps of wires grouped up on posts, things that we really want to try to get around. One of the really good things that I was able to do with this motor is I was able to customize General Motors' electrical power distribution box. We were able to source the individual pins inside the box for both relays and fused circuits. It ends up with a super clean OEM style fit, finish, and function.
So we went from the back to the front and we talked about the inside. Now let's talk about the outside and the underneath. On top of this FJ62, we've got an easy-on K9 roof rack from our good friends at Equipped Expedition Outfitters. Nice rack, and then there's those rigid rack lights that I told you about. Then there's the beautifully restored FJ62 in the middle, and one of the reasons this is nice, like I said at the very beginning, is that it's a body-off restoration. So the undercarriage of this is beautiful. The frame was powder coated. The entire underside of the body has been done in Vortex 2-part polyurea spray liner. We loaded the axles up with ARBs, rebuilt them, and then completely cosmetically restored the axles, which means powder coating and zinc everywhere, and all of the hot exhaust and heat shields and clip clamps and springs. Like I always say, everything underneath of this is brand new, and so it's beautiful under there. And let's go underneath and have a look. So here it is, FJ62 body off restoration. I've showed you everything. I've talked about it probably too much. So actions speak louder than words. Let's go drive it. So we never get to drive them on camera. We've already put over 500 miles on this because we wanted to get the new engine completely broke in so we could do the initial oil change. But it's ready to go now. It's a lot quieter in here because under this carpet we've got Dynamat. And then underneath that, the Vortex industrial thickness, so those two things provide a lot of heat and sound deadening for a pretty respectable, healthy motor.
Thanks for watching this episode of Proffitt's Resurrection Land Cruisers TV. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check us out on Instagram @ProCruiser and Facebook, Proffitt's Resurrection Land Cruisers, and our website is resurrectionlandcruisers.com. Thanks for watching.
I'm busy.
Bob is very busy. Bob, how do you feel about Proffitt's Resurrection Land Cruisers TV today?
I feel like I have stuff to go do. Oh, there's the one.
Where's my...
He found it.
My car's right there. See
I think
how
Bob
pretty it is.
left that cleaner in here intentionally so he could come in and be on camera. That's what I think.
Bob really likes the camera.
Or not. Distraction. We've
All right.
got more to do when you're done with this, just saying.
What?
There's more filming to do after this. Just get through this, you know.
Trying.
No, I'm kidding.
Not very good. Yeah.
All right, ready? Action.
Be sure to click like and subscribe. Okay. Beep, bleep. All right.
All right.
Hey, you should hold my phone. What if my phone goes off on the perfect one? My phone's gonna go off on the perfect one.
Well, that's why I always silence my phone and stick it in my pocket.
Okay. Okay, I got this.